So in this video, we're looking at the coordinate plane. And remember, the coordinate plane has the two axes. We have the x-axis, and then this one over here is the y-axis. And just some critical parts. This point here we call the origin. It's where it originated from, right? 0, 0. It's the origin. It's where it's originating from. That's why it's called the origin. Interestingly enough, any point along here, if we just name a couple of points, like this is 4, 0, this point here would be 1, 0. If I go back this other direction, I have negative 3, 0. Do you notice in every single one of them, y is 0. So if you were on the x-axis, y equals 0. It's a critical point that's used later on. Just something good to think about. Also, if we're working on the y-axis, look what happens on the y-axis. We have here, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's call this. This is 5. Oh, don't make that mistake. This is 0, 5. And if I go down here, 0, 2. This was 0, negative 3. If I keep going, 0, negative 7. In every case here, hopefully you notice, when we're on the y-axis, that x equals 0. So if you're on the y-axis, x equals 0. If you're on the x-axis, y equals 0. Another key parts of the coordinate plane, before we get going, we're talking about quadrants. This is your first quadrant. It goes counterclockwise. So this is the second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. Those are just the essential parts of the coordinate plane. Now, when we're labeling a point, remember we label x as the first and then y. Every time you label a point, you must put parentheses here. I can't emphasize how important that is. People try to leave those parentheses off, and you can't. If you're writing a point, you must use parentheses to write that point. So notice here, I had 4 because we got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x-axis, and 0 on the y because we did not move up and down. So x is your left and right, the x-axis, and the y-axis is the up and down. So when I labeled the y points, this was 0, 5, we did not move anywhere on the x-axis, right? We didn't move left or right at all. That's why there's a 0 there. And then we moved up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the y, and that's how we labeled that 0, 4. Now, x first, because they were using x. Y is the next letter in the alphabet. So if you forget, oh yeah, x is first in the alphabet, so it's the one that goes first. So let's plot a couple of points. If we wanted to plot, let's say, negative 5, 2. And I'm going to assume on my graph here that we're scaling by 1s. Well, won't assume, I'll just label this as 1, and this is 1 to tell you that the scaling is going to be 1. So if I want negative 5, this is our x is negative 5, and our y is 2. So we go negative 5 on the x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice I'm going left for negatives on the x. Up 2, and that's this point right here. Negative 5, 2. So if you're wanting on the y-axis to be positive, it's going to be above the x-axis, and the y-axis is negative down here. So this is where y is negative, where y is positive. X is positive over on this side, and going left, x is negative, if you forgot. So we look at it, and it helps us. So what if we had a negative y, let's say negative 4, and we went negative x and 1 for the y. So we go, that's the same thing we just did, but here we go, negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go up 1. What if I make it 0, negative 7? I go 0 on the x and down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more. 3, 2. Means 3 on the x, 1, 2, 3, up 2 on the y. Positive on the x, positive on the y.